What do you do when a tank destroyer is found half buried, its barrel missing, and wheels missing? You bring it back from the dead. Today we'll show 5 extreme military restorations. Machines left to rot in fields, forests, and surplus lots, each pulled from scrap and rebuilt into working history. You'll see the wrecks, the wrenching challenges, missing parts, eaten steel, hidden damage, and the payoff. Engines that roar again, museum-quality rebuilds, and stories you won't believe. Stick around, the worst condition is still to come. The story opens in foul weather, rain, then unexpected snow on the hood, and a truck that's been sitting too long. The mission is simple and brutal. Make this 5-ton truck work again. First signs of neglect are obvious. Dry rotted tires that exploded in storage and headlights that don't work. The crew starts at the ground, 4 brand new Goodyear tires fitted by hand, after hours of stubborn beadwork and improvised tricks. The central tire inflation system is the next puzzle. A stray valve stem hides the fault. Once removed, the CTIS works again. It's a tiny part. A big win. Electrical gremlins show up in the cab. A seized blower motor with a melted power lead is pulled. Shaft cleaned, and the fan straightened. New LEDs are adapted to military plugs, then debugged when polarity turns out to be flipped. Fluid maintenance became a forensic study. Differentials were drained, magnets pull metal shavings, one axle's gear oil appeared milky with water, a clear sign of hub failure or open vents. The transmission revealed another oddity. Motor oil had been used historically. The team replaced the fluid with Dexron 3 and fitted a new pan gasket and filter. Practicality drives decisions. Some bits will wait for part 2, seals, knuckle rebuilds, and winch gears, but the essentials get done. Oil changed, CTIS functioning, lights fixed, and the battery refreshed for a first road test. The payoff is immediate. The engine warms, the truck pulls to the truck stop for fuel, and then into a snowstorm it goes. Tows a stuck car, and even attempts to rescue a stranded rabbit. The hulking surplus vehicle that started the day a weather-beaten hulk now moves with purpose. This isn't a concourse rebuild. It's a practical resurrection. Heavy vehicle restorations are less about polish and more about making history useful again. The Willys MB, the original Jeep that became the icon of Allied mobility. Simple, rugged, and everywhere in World War II, but time is brutal on sheet metal and small parts. Willys' production and design choices in 1941 to 42 favored the sturdy 60-horsepower Go Devil engine and a compact utilitarian package that soldiers loved for dependability. It was purchased for a staggering $400,000 and delivered to Jake, a master restorer, to bring it back from the dead. On arrival, it's completely inert. The engine won't start. 3 of 4 wheels are seized and factory paint flakes away at a touch. Jake begins with a full teardown, and the first discovery is brutal. 6 of 8 valves are rusted shut. requiring multiple grinding passes just to free them. Once the valves are freed, the engine gets a deep clean. Grease, varnished fuel, and wartime grime blasted away until cast iron gleams. Sandblasting follows, engine and chassis stripped to bare metal. Then a high-temperature epoxy primer seals the work so the rebuilt heart can survive another lifetime. The frame is treated the same. Rusted sections cut away, new pieces expertly fabricated and welded in. Then epoxy primed and painted in factory-correct finish. Brakes are a full rebuild. Hubs and backing plates sandblasted, pitted but usable. Original wheel cylinders corroded beyond repair are replaced with modern equivalents machined down to fit. All 8 tapered wheel bearings are cleaned and measured. Tapered design gives negligible wear. They're returned to spec for safe rolling. With engine reassembled and drivetrain refreshed, Jake attempts the first start, and the old Willys coughs, then roars to life. Bodywork reveals heavy corrosion. The gas tank is rusted through and many panels require hand-fabricated replacements, matched to original sheet thickness. After welding in new metal, the body receives epoxy resin primer, a thin skim of filler for finish. Then into the booth for the original matte green factory color, and a proper bake cure. Nearly 200 small parts are cataloged, blasted, and repainted. An undercoat is applied to the chassis for sound and corrosion protection before the final assembly. When the final bolt is torqued and the Willys rolls out, it's more than a vehicle restored. It's a piece of history returned to motion, ready to tell its next story. This green behemoth is a 1953 M35, a deuce and a half with a stubborn past. It's a beloved truck but laid up after an engine lockup left it dead for months. The mystery starts simple: overheating and coolant loss. The radiator has been weeping coolant into the belly of the truck, and the hose work is as tired as the truck itself. They try a first crank with a dose of ether, and it coughs but won't idle. It dies the instant the throttle is released. That's the classic symptom. It wants fuel help but won't settle until it's properly timed and healthy. With the radiator out, the pump cover is finally accessible. The gears are revealed under grime. Timing dots are supposed to tell the story, but on this truck some marks are faint or missing. The crew combs paint-caked dampers and timing marks until the correct LDS mark lines up, then backs the engine to TDC and verifies rockers are loose on cylinder 1. This is the moment the machine either comes back into phase or stays broken. Hydraulic head removal is heavy, grimy work. Hoses, injector lines, and hold-down bolts come free. The head lifts, and the team highlights the pump's tooth with paint so the obscure mark is visible outside the engine bay. With timing marks aligned and the painted tooth set in the right orientation, the head goes back in. A mirror helps confirm the hidden gear tooth is on the money. Tiny truths that make or break the whole job. They leave the shutdown cover off to fine-tune the shutdown/throttle shaft. A fiddly lever that must be positioned perfectly or the engine will run away. With injectors bled and lines tightened, it's time to try. This time the deuce came alive. Not with a cough, but with a solid catch and a deep, steady idle. The engine sounds brighter, livelier, finely matched to its timing. Radiator reinstalled, hoses exchanged, cooling topped, the truck warms and the checks begin. Leak hunts, fuel sanity checks, and a low-speed test run. What once felt gutless now drives like a truck reborn. By the time the deuce rolls out for the parade, it's a different machine. Sorted, confident, and fun to drive. A timing mark and a handful of stubborn bolts stood between roadside embarrassment and a roaring comeback. Halfway through, but we're only getting started. The worst condition is still to come. This truck's been sleeping for 15 years, dragged home from an auction and left to the weather. Today, Mad Detailing takes it on. A full deep clean that will pull a long-lost Army truck back into the light. They start with the basics: an extreme all-purpose cleaner diluted 4:1 and a pressure washer. The mission: remove mildew, sodden grime, and years of paint bloom. What looks like a single color becomes a map. Faded green inside, tan overspray outside, and layers of crust that only a hard wash will reveal. Wheels and tires are next. An iron eraser treatment attacks rust around the lugs while degreaser strips grime off steel rims. Then the truck gets a proper wash, foam cannon, super blue soap, and a heavy-duty scratch brush used only because this isn't a show car, it's an honest rescue. Inside, caution rules. The foam under the seats has gone brittle. Hot water extraction would destroy what's left. So the team works with gentle cleaners and microfibers, preserving over aggression. With the muck gone, a little TLC goes a long way. Small rust spots are treated, trim is touched up, and to everyone's surprise, the exact color match is found. Freehand paintwork follows, wheels, chassis bits, and the front bumper are sprayed to blend decades of scuffs into something tidy. It's not concours, it's practical pride. Final passes, wipe downs, detail dressing, and a last check under daylight. The transformation isn't a miracle, it's elbow grease, the right chemistry and the patience to treat an old truck with respect. From an auction relic to a clean, usable truck, Mad Detailing proved that with the right process, even 15 years of neglect can be washed into a new chapter. For a decade, the Australian Armour and Artillery Museum hoarded parts, odds and ends from battlefields, shipments, and war surplus. Little by little, a ghost of a tank took shape in the storeroom. Then, a long-buried factory unearthed supplies enough to dream bigger. What the team had been collecting suddenly became a real possibility. A Jag Panther, a late-war Panther, variant so rare only 415 were ever built. Two men led the resurrection, Daz and Jess, turning scavenged fragments into functioning components. First up, the roof and rear fighting compartment pieces from Kyberg. Salvage is a negotiation with heat. Jess heats tapered bolts red hot to recover seized hardware, and when parts are beyond repair, they're returned on the lathe to original spec. Every rescued bolt, every hand-turned piece keeps the build honest. Plate work is brutal. TIG and stick welding stitch armored plate back together. Relief cuts and pressed work remove wartime distortions. And the 40mm armor that once took a hit now receives equal force to coax it back to shape. Rust is not erased, it's managed. Lower hull parts are blasted, primed and bolted to jigs so the assembly remains square. Wheel hubs, once thought lost, are remade. Each hub is a small engineering problem. Flange, spacer, welded assembly, heated, driven free, and realigned until the wheel runs true. The build balances preservation and practicality. Pitting and battle scars are intentionally left to tell history. New plates are dressed to fit, not to erase. Fabricated shims, pressed skirts, and handmade mudguards bridge the gap between museum accuracy and reality. Fiddly work follows. Vents, mounts, and brackets are CAD designed, laser cut, or hand formed. The mantlet is fitted with custom supports. The machine gun ball mount fabricated and lifted into place. Attention to these small elements is what turns a pile of steel into a believable vehicle. Finally, the trolley ride to the museum. A slow, careful procession. Daz and Jess guide the Jagdpanther into its new home beside the Tiger. This is not a glorification of war, but a tribute to engineering, and to the hands that brought Rust back to purpose. 345 days, hundreds of hours, measuring, cutting, pressing, welding, painting, until a neglected pile of scrap becomes a marvel. The Jagdpanther stands now as an artifact, raw, repaired, and impossible to look away from. A few universal lessons from these projects. Document everything, number and bag every part, and photograph disassembly steps. The reverse process rarely surprises you if you've recorded the forward one. When originals are impossible to find, fabrication to spec and checking tolerances on a lathe or mill is the key to functional authenticity. Finally, treat corrosion as a structural problem, not cosmetic. Reinforce, replace, and protect with modern coatings so your restoration lasts decades. We've seen 5 restorations from surplus wrecks to roaring beasts, wreckers, Willys Jeeps, moldy trucks, a Jagdpanther, and a DUKW. Each a lesson in patience and craft. Which one surprised you most? Tell us in the comments. And if you love the salvaging and the surprises, like and subscribe for more deep restorations. Until the next video. But for now, remember, scrap today, story tomorrow.